Okay guys, given that all I was asking you to do was remove words, this must be the easiest set of questions that you found on the course so far. Let's have a look at the questions. The said business principle is no longer correct. Simply, the business principle, and we can say about, is there's never anything wrong about a little bit of repetition to make sure that there is clarity. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's another good habit. You might have to add some extra words in. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Using extra words for the purposes of clarity, absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a recommended habit to develop. Now, I can imagine why someone might say the said business principle. There was a mention of a business principle in the paragraph before, so you might think, okay, I've got to say said because I'm referring to that. But the business principle itself, contextually, is a form of substitution for what you've just mentioned. So there's no justification for writing said in this case. You must pay value-added tax, hereinafter referred to as VAT, easy peasy. You must pay value-added tax, VAT. Now, if you've got a style guide at your place of work, then your style guide would suggest how exactly you create definitions. This is one standard form of creating definitions. There are others. Once again, check out your style guide. If you haven't got a style guide, check out one of the ones which are available online. If you don't want to do that, then just be consistent. The worst thing in the world is where you've got definitions which are inconsistent. For example, some people would say the VAT, some people would say and then later on just say VAT. Some people would put the VAT inside the quotation marks. Some people would just put VAT inside the quotation marks. It's that inconsistency that looks unprofessional. The effects of the so-called restructuring are positive. Without any context, how do you understand so-called in this? So-called because it's unusual, so-called because it's commonly known, so-called because you don't like it. So the effects of the so-called restructuring, this could be understood or read in a number of different ways. We don't need to say that. The effects of the restructuring are positive. Is it possible to submit the documents after the said time? Just like number one, said is used here to refer to what was already mentioned. We don't need to say that. We can just say this. Is it possible to submit the documents after, and then we repeat that information? We give the precise time. For example, is it possible to submit the documents after 3 p.m. today? So that repetition introduces clarity, which is always a good thing. And lastly, for number 5, this issue concerns the so-called internal market test. So internal market test is the name of the test. Some people think that they have to write so-called before such official titles. You don't have to. The issue concerns the internal market test. So here, this is where you would identify it as being a title either by putting it in single quotation marks as I have done, or double quotation marks depending on your style guide, or by using capital letters to identify this as a well-known test.